of their own workplaces. Many of these buildings here day in and day out, the entirety of the pandemic. Security workers, front desk staff, custodians, and building engineers. For many of their buildings' tenants, remote work is coming to an end. Having vaccine available where you work makes getting vaccinated very convenient. It's exciting to see after a long year apart, an achievement only possible because of the life-saving protections of vaccines and the consequent reduction of cases and hospital admissions. More vaccinations will mean more of a return to normal for everyone. I'm announcing this initiative made possible by our Illinois Walgreens teams, so those returning to these office buildings will be able to keep each other safe and keep their workplaces COVID-free. And the building managers have worked hand in hand with IDPH to make this as convenient as possible. That's why our initial clinics at commercial buildings all take place during a shift change so that we can catch as many workers as possible. Starting today, participating buildings and their corporate tenants and union staff will be able to sign up workplaces. And later this week, these clinics will open up to area businesses and the general public too. And of course, if the demand is there, we'll be back for even more vaccination clinics. This vaccination program is starting off with major key commercial offices around the state, including the Merchandise Mart and Wrigley Building here in similar events. The state of Illinois commercial offices around the state, including the Merchandise Mart and Wrigley Building here in similar events. The state of Illinois person who gets them, but just as importantly, vaccines also make the whole community safer. Fewer unvaccinated people means there's less room for new, more dangerous variants of COVID-19 to take shape. Scheduled in the weeks ahead. Any group, whether a religious institution, a neighborhood organization, or a nonprofit, can sign up to host a vaccination clinic at zero cost to them. If you sign up and gather the people you want to get vaccinated, Illinois will provide the resources and staff. You can learn more at dph.illinois.gov/COVID-19/vaccination clinics. We'd like vacation clinics, but we're going to go with vaccination clinics. Finally, if you want to get others vaccinated and help get others vaccinated, start in your own family and your circle of friends. Talk to them about why you got vaccinated and then help them and working together. So thank you, and with that, I'd like to turn it over to the mayor of the greatest global city, Lori Lightfoot.
Thank you, Governor. Good morning, everyone. I want to thank the governor once again for his incredible leadership throughout this pandemic, and Dr. Ezike of the Illinois Department of Public Health, who've been tremendous partners to the city of Chicago. Let me also recognize BOMA Chicago Executive Director Farzan Parang, BOMA Suburban Chicago Executive Director Michael Mulcrone, our friend and partner SEIU Local 1 President Tom Balinoff, and you'll hear from one of those essential workers, SEIU Local Member Shalomira Chamiga. and also from Walgreens pharmacist Nancy Solomon. Well, the governor, I think, really set the tone for this. This is about making sure that we are opening up opportunities for businesses, for employees to come back to work. And a hello, by the way, to all of you up there. It's an understatement to say that our city was in a very different place just 1 year ago. One of the keys that has turned around our fears into hopes is the availability of this life-saving vaccine. We've come a long way since those early dark days of the pandemic a year ago. And now, armed with a vaccine that is safe, free, let me underscore that, free and widely available, we have what we need to take the progress that we've made even further. But truly, it depends upon each and every one of us stepping up and doing our part. And that's why we're here today, to encourage building owners and businesses to get their tenants and staff vaccinated. When the pandemic hit, many employers were able to shift some, if not all, of their operations online, allowing some employees to be able to work from home, thus significantly reducing their chances of catching or spreading this deadly disease in most workplace environments, and allowing some businesses to continue some form of normality even during this difficult time. And now that we have a vaccine that is proven to be safe and effective, more and more employers are beginning to plan out or have already begun to welcome employees back into the office. And as government, healthcare, business, and labor leaders, it's our responsibility to make sure that this transition is as smooth and safe as possible. In-building vaccination sites provide an effective solution to this challenge, because they will allow us to literally meet tenants and staff and employees where they are or where they will be in the future, and provide them with a convenient place to get vaccinated. These sites, as you heard, will be here in Chicago as well as out in the suburbs and other parts of the state. And I'm thrilled to report that for many months now, we have been working to educate employers and employees about the safety of the vaccine. And we've held a number of vaccination events at various businesses and other locations in the Chicago area, as well as with faith community, not-for-profits. And this new initiative that the governor and I are announcing today just takes that work and extends it all the further. One of the questions that we have is, how do we get the vaccine? As the governor has indicated, for the first time since we started vaccinating folks in December, we have vaccine that is available in all parts of the city without having to wait. You can walk up now to many places, but we still encourage you to go online and get an appointment. But whatever it takes, do not hesitate to get this life-saving vaccine. So as part of this initiative, beginning next Monday, May 17th, tenants, staff, and even walk-ins can get their first dose of the Pfizer vaccine from 3 to 5 p.m. at Merchandise Mart, that's 311 South Wacker and the Wrigley Building, with other sites at 115 South LaSalle Street, 540 West Madison, 401 North Michigan, and 150 North Riverside Plaza in the opening days. And in addition, if the demand from this first wave is high enough and other businesses want to jump into this initiative, we will be more than willing to open up further sites in the week of May 24th. This in-building vaccination site initiative isn't exclusive to buildings like the ones that I've listed. As the governor intimated, if you are a property owner, a community organization, a not-for-profit, church, or some other kind of building where people congregate, we are more than willing to partner with you to put on vaccination clinics for free as you welcome people back under your roof. We need all of you to take part in our mission to fully vaccinate our residents, reopen our city and our state, and finally put this pandemic in the rearview mirror. I've said multiple times over these last about the prospects of what this summer will bring, I believe that it'll look more like the summer of 2019 than the summer of 2020, but a lot of that and the pace of it depends upon how many more people we can get vaccinated. So taking advantage of these opportunities is critically important. And let me also just say this. I want to give a shout out to those folks that we euphemistically call essential workers. people that have been coming downtown and to neighborhoods, to their jobs every single day without fail throughout this pandemic. They are the unsung heroes of this story about the pandemic. They are the people who've been putting themselves on the line every single day to make sure that our city kept functioning. And for them, we've done a lot of things to make sure that they are protected. We've made sure that you can get tested without any reprisals. We've made sure through ordinance that if you are sick, you're being retaliated against by your employer. So employers out there, we applaud you who have stepped up to do the right thing to protect your employees. But there's more work that needs to be done. Welcome your employees back, but welcome them back with a vaccine that you provide in your workplace so that they know they can get that vaccine in a place of safety and they can come back to work comfortably. And with that, I would like to turn it over to Dr. Ezike of IDPH to say a few words. And I'm going to say happy belated Mother's Day to Dr. Ezike's mother, who's here with us this morning. Dr. Ezike.
Good morning, everyone. I know that those that celebrated, I hope they all enjoyed a happy and safe Mother's Day. As you've seen over the past several months, we have been working to set up as many vaccination locations and opportunities as possible. By expanding vaccination opportunities to businesses, we're hoping to make it as easy as possible for every single person to get vaccinated. We are focused on taking vaccine to people instead of people needing to come and meet the vaccine. And getting a vaccine and turning it into a vaccination, it is an important and personal decision. And if you're still deciding if you will get a COVID-19 vaccine, please talk to your doctor, talk to some other healthcare provider about the safety, effectiveness, and benefits of being vaccinated. As a physician who takes care of adults, but also the little ones, I have seen firsthand the benefits of vaccines and the diseases and the illnesses that they prevent. That's why I got my vaccine as soon as I was able. In fact, nearly all doctors have been vaccinated against COVID-19. And while no vaccine is 100% effective, the COVID-19 vaccine has been found to be way more effective than even the flu shot that people are familiar with from every single year. Millions of people have been vaccinated safely, and the systems in place to continuously monitor the safety of the vaccines were proven to work when they identified even just a handful of events out of the millions of people vaccinated. As long as the virus is able to circulate, it can mutate, and we can end up with more deadly variants, which would send us in the wrong direction. If you've already been vaccinated, congratulations, and please help others to get vaccinated as well. We understand it's a personal decision, but we want to make sure that people have the right facts with which to make the best decision for themselves, their families, and their communities. The quickest way for life to return to normal is for more people to get vaccinated. Buenos días. Como han visto durante los últimos meses, hemos estado trabajando para establecer más lugares y oportunidades de vacunación como sea posible. Al expandir las oportunidades de vacunación a los negocios, nuestra esperanza es que las personas se vacunen lo más fácilmente posible. Recibir una vacuna es una decisión importante y personal. Si está decidiendo si recibirá una vacuna COVID-19, hablé con su doctor sobre la seguridad, la eficacia y los beneficios de vacunarse. Como doctora, especialmente pediatra, he visto los beneficios de las vacunas y las enfermedades que previenen. Por eso me vacuné lo más pronto posible. Es cierto, ninguna vacuna es 100% efectivo, pero se ha descubierto que la vacuna COVID-19 es más efectiva que la vacuna contra la influenza. Si ya te has vacunado, felicidades. y ayúdenos a animar a otros que se vacunan también. Es una decisión personal, seguramente, pero queremos que las personas tengan los datos científicos al tomar esa decisión. La forma más rápida de que la vida vuelve a la normalidad de sus familiares y amigos tenemos al tomar esa decisión. La forma más rápida de que la vida vuelve a la normalidad de sus familiares y amigos tenemos que seguir trabajando juntos. Muchísimas gracias. And with that, I'm happy to turn the podium over to Farzan Perang.
Good morning. I am Farzan Perang, the Executive Director of the Building Owners and Managers Association of Chicago, or BOMA Chicago, which represents the commercial office industry and roughly 98% of all the rentable office space in Class A buildings downtown. I'd like to thank 115 South LaSalle and Hines for hosting us in this great building today, and in fact for participating in the program. We're going to be doing vaccines right here in this lobby. Prior to the pandemic, downtown Chicago office buildings spent $2.5 billion in annual operating expenditures, creating $5.3 billion in our local economic impact. As importantly, Chicago's downtown office buildings brought 600,000 people from all over our city and the region to work in our downtown. The density of these office goers made possible the restaurants, theaters, and other businesses that power much of our hospitality, arts, and tourism industries. That infrastructure, in turn, makes our city more appealing to live in and promotes the retention and recruitment of the workforce that our businesses need to grow. It is imperative for our state and our city to recover and nurture that density. It is both literally and figuratively the core of what makes us a city, and it is certainly what sustains our collective economy. More and more tenants are confidently setting a return date. May remain for our workers and residents to access them. Our office buildings have been focused for over a year on providing safe workplaces, and our members, along with our transit agencies and our other essential workers, are more than ready to welcome your full teams back to the downtown that makes our vibrant neighborhoods a world-class city. I'd like to thank Governor Pritzker and the state and Walgreens for making this program possible. I'd like to thank Mayor Lightfoot for all of her efforts during this pandemic, and our partners in organized labor for their teamwork during these challenging times. We are excited about the future of our city and our collective recovery. And with that, I'm equally excited to announce my counterpart from BOMA, suburban Chicago, Michael Mulcrone.
Thank you. My name is Michael Mulcrone. I'm the Executive Director for the Building Owners and Managers Association of Suburban Chicago. The commercial office building owners and managers appreciate the opportunity to partner with the state and to bring vaccinations directly to our tenants and our employees. BOMA Suburban Chicago is clean, open, healthy, and safe. Clean, open, healthy, and safe. We look forward to welcoming you back.
Thank you, Michael. Good morning. I'm Tom Balanoff, President of SIU Local 1. We represent thousands of property service workers in downtown Chicago and throughout the greater Chicagoland area. Janitors, security officers, essential workers, workers who from day one, from the beginning of this pandemic, came to work, kept the buildings clean and sanitized, kept them safe and secure. I want to say that right off the bat, BOMA of keeping commercial buildings down downtown and throughout the Chicagoland area clean and safe. And we started from the basis that in order to do that, we needed to keep the essential workers safe, and we worked together. It wasn't all this. Been a lot of confusion, a lot of misunderstandings as to what's right to do and what's not right. We're very successful and effective in keeping buildings clean and safe. I also want to praise and lift up the governor and the mayor and Dr. Ezeki for all the hard work they've done through this most complicated of times. We've worked closely with all of them to make sure that as many of our members can get vaccinated. This program is I hopefully will be very effective, not only in getting property service workers vaccinated, but also getting tenants vaccinating. I tell you that we pledge to continue throughout this process to work with government and industry to make sure that everybody can be protected and we can bring back our city as quick as possible. Now I'd like to introduce one of my sisters, Salamira Chamika, who's been a janitor for over 20 years here in downtown Chicago. Salamira?
Miss Slavomira Chamika.
I'm going to do this for you since I need it for myself.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. My name is Slavomira. I am janitor at the Torrey South Walker in Chicago. As essential worker, frontline worker, it's important we do all we can to keep ourselves and our family protected from the deadly COVID-19 virus. I received my first vaccine dose in March and second in April. My family is doing their part getting vaccinated. My husband got his shot. My daughter, my son-in-law has got both doses. The COVID-19 vaccine is safe. I believe we all should get vaccinated. So many people have died from virus, and many people have died from virus, and many people are out of work. We don't want to look back and think about it and say, I should have gotten the vaccine. Now is the time to do it. When we all get vaccinated, we can return to work and kids can go back to school safely. This is the right things to do, that our life can return to normal. Downtown essential workers are the key to bring our economy back. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Nancy Salmon. I'm a Walgreens pharmacist, and thank you, Governor Pritzker, for having us here. I am proud to represent Walgreens this morning for another important effort to vaccinate Chicagoans. I am a pharmacist at Walgreens right around the corner, 79 West Monroe, Clark and Monroe. I am also an immunizing specialist. I understand the need for vaccines and the importance they are, and to deliver care where they are, and to deliver care where they are. By providing vaccinations in Loop office buildings and soon in office buildings across the state, we are making it even more convenient to get the shot. Throughout the COVID-19 pandemic, Walgreens has been a vital partner in testing and vaccinations in our local communities, including Chicago. So far, our team of trained immunizers have administered more than 16 million COVID vaccinations in stores and throughout dedicated clinics across the country, and in over 400 locations throughout the state of Illinois. I'm personally proud to play a critical role in helping protect the community against COVID-19 and help the country emerge from this pandemic. Personally, I'm looking forward to seeing family, traveling, going to concerts. There are still too many of us who are not sure about getting vaccinated, but that's why we are all here, correct? That's why we have joined forces to show up for our community. If Walgreens can help it, we're not going to leave anyone behind when it comes to access for a COVID vaccine. So we are excited about this partnership that will get office workers in the Loop vaccinated and eventually in other buildings around Illinois. We share the nation's enthusiasm to get people vaccinated safely, equitably, and as quick as possible. But no one organization can solve this pandemic on their own. It's really going to take all of us, all hands on deck, and this is why these partnerships are so vitally important. Thank you, Governor Pritzker, for giving Walgreens the opportunity, and I look forward to working with you. Thank you very much. I'm going to bring back Governor Pritzker to this podium to answer questions.
Thanks, and happy to take questions from members of the media. Marianne. We're in a similar trajectory. We obviously want to, we've got quite a number of vaccinations that are available in the state already that are still unused. And so we want to make sure that we're working through the inventory that we've got. We're going to ramp down the number of vaccines that we're getting for the state. And we obviously, the federal government has made all of that still available to us, even if we were to say we want 10% or 20% less. Those doses are still available to us in the following week. We're in process right now. Mm-hmm. You're so polite. No, we're well aware. We have been. I've talked about it before. We had an increase of supply and dropping demand, that we would get to a point where we had more supply than demand. So we've been planning for this for some time now. You can see that it takes a good deal of partnership, right? Walgreens and SEIU and BOMA and the city and the state all working together to make it very convenient for people who may not have otherwise been able to get vaccinated. So we're, I think, in good shape in terms of the planning. Everything is still on course. We are, as you know, we've put up a lot of incentives for folks to get vaccinated. Many of the companies, I want to commend them for stepping forward and offering these kinds of incentives. It's working. People are taking us up on those incentives. And we'll do, really, there's an awful lot that we can do to make sure that people are coming forward. Again, for people who have been hesitant and are becoming more confident now, we're just trying to make it more available to them. Yes, although remember, we still have the ability to order every week. We have the ability to order, literally 800,000, 900,000, 1 million doses. And so to the extent that we, look forward and see that there's greater demand than we have supply for, we will continue to order.
Governor, do you see a time when you will require people to be vaccinated and show proof of vaccination in order to go to a large vaccination conference?
Look, I think we're evaluating all of that, but I personally, as you know, I do not think we should require people to have a vaccination passport. I think that people may want to have one, and so I hope they're available to people, but that's a private decision that people will make. And then private businesses will make decisions about whether they want to require some sort of proof. But that's the extent of where we are on requiring people to get vaccinated. I'm very interested, though, in making sure that we're making it so available in places like on campus now here at the end of the year, so that many, many, many students who are at universities in Illinois will get vaccinated before the summer even, so that when they come back in the fall, they can have a safe opening. Well, let's start with, we've lost a great artistic genius from our community. Helmut Jahn is one of the great architects in the world. And there are so many examples of the great work that he's done. And I want to express my condolences to his family and to all who loved him, who worked with him, who know his art. Look, the James R. Thompson Center was, you know, a building that never lived up to his creative genius. That is to say, I think you're aware that he felt that, I think he used the word cheapening of the building while there was design engineering being done back in the mid-'80s. And so it's not the greatest example of his work. And so, you know, we've obviously put out an RFP that allows people who are thinking about buying the property to preserve the building or choose something else.
Well, it's certainly my hope. You know, as the governor said, we've got to continue to make sure that vaccine is readily available to anyone who wants it. We have some areas of the city that we haven't seen the kind of uptake that we'd like, so we're really focusing energies and efforts there, particularly among African American young people, 18 to 29. That's a big area of focus for us. And on the south side, we're doing innovative, creative things. I think some of you saw the vaccine bus over the weekend. We'll continue to do that. We've done a music series that will roll itself out, again, prioritizing people who've gotten a vaccine. We're headed in the right direction, but everything about this pandemic has to have an asterisk of caution because of the twists and turns. And as the governor and Dr. Ezike said, we've got to get people vaccinated so that we can get ahead of these variants. I think Mary Ann had a follow-up, and then I'll come to you. Yeah. Soon. We are in the final stages of kind of rolling out a plan to return people on a staggered shift. We're going to be revising our telework program, so that will be in place relatively soon, and we'll be making an announcement. But obviously, we're also continue to encourage city workers of all types to get the vaccine as well. Yes, ma'am. You know, I apologize, but I'm having a little difficulty hearing you. Yep. Well, it's really quite straightforward. We've been in conversation with our federal partners, and particularly most recently the U.S. EPA. They expressed some concerns about the way in which this and other environmental issues were vetted under the current administration, under the previous administration, and those conversations led to the letter that we received on Friday asking us to conduct a more extensive environmental analysis, and we're going to do that. So as a result of that, we notified RMG on Friday, which is the actual proper name of the company, that we were going to be pausing any further review of the permit application pending the outcome of this analysis. Yeah, go ahead. Mm-hmm. Well, that's not what the letter. That's not what. Hold on. But that's not what the U.S. EPA letter said. What the U.S. EPA said, and I had a direct conversation with the administrator, so I want to make sure we're clear, is that U.S. EPA said essentially two things. One, they have great concerns about the depth of the review and oversight of this particular site and others by the previous administration. Number two, they had concerns, as we do, about the cumulative impact of this particular permit and others that are in the pipeline. So I just want to be clear that we're not paraphrasing in a way that puts words in the mouths of the U.S. EPA that isn't accurate. It's certainly not in any conversation I had or not reflected in the letter that was sent. Well, I don't know that that's accurate either, but the bottom line is we obviously want to work in harmony with IEPA, also with US EPA, who has dug down, looked specifically at this and other projects, and in deference to the new administration and US EPA, we're going to conduct this additional study. Yeah, I mean, I think a note of caution. You know, as you know, this entity that supposedly hacked these emails tried to get a ransom from Jones Day, which was not paid, and then from the city, which we obviously didn't pay. But I would just be very, very cautious. I've seen this happen in other instances. I've seen it from my perspective as a lawyer representing clients. And oftentimes what happens is you get things either out of context or they've been manipulated to make a particular political statement. So I'm not going to be commenting on specific emails, things that may be extrapolated out, because we have no way of knowing whether or not those emails are in fact legitimate, that they have been put online in their original form, and also, you know, somebody who's committed a federal crime of stealing emails, I don't want to credit them as a credible news source. So I won't be commenting on any specifics related to that. No, not at all. Not at all. Right.
Again, we continue to try project what will happen. Again, the boosters, we're not even sure, you know, when that will be, if it'll be new vaccines or the same vaccines. Again, so a lot of projection, but the idea just generally is that we want to make vaccines readily accessible. We already know the number of people that get their annual flu shot from pharmacies, so that's not a new invention or creation. But we need it for this pandemic, and going forward, we will continue to make vaccines as accessible as possible to just erase barriers and obstacles so that people can get the protection they need as quickly and effectively and equitably as possible.